Okay, folks, so I have these Meyer lemons, which originate from California. We don't get them very often. I want to do something special with them, so I'm going to make special Meyer lemon tarts. And first thing we need to do is make the pâte sucrée, which is a short crust. And unlike the pâte brisée, which I've shown you before, the flaky crust, you don't need cold ingredients, freezing cold butter with ice and so on. It's actually quite the opposite. It's more like making a shortbread cookie. You cream room temperature butter, half a cup of sugar. That's 8 ounces of unsalted butter. This is half a cup of sugar. Cream that together. It's really much more like cookie making, and that's what makes these tarts so yummy. So I'm gonna do that for a few minutes, start on slow. And when it gets, and then move up to medium. To really cream it, you have to be on medium. And I have these tart molds. We're going to use those. Normally I would want 6, but I only have 4. And for this particular application, I'm using a silicone mat. But you could use, standard, parchment. Okay, I'm gonna move that up a bit. To get it fluffy. I already have 2.5 cups of flour, all-purpose. And I have a 1/4 teaspoon of table salt, which I'm mixing in because the butter isn't salted. But before we do that, we add 1 egg yolk and get that mixed in. I'll do that on slow at first. And I keep the egg white because I'm going to try to make something really cool for the top later. This recipe calls for 1/2 tablespoon of milk. That's more than half, just a second. I'm not really worried about being too precise with the milk. It's such a small amount, but it adds a little moisture for when you add the flour. And then you take, and yes, that's Yellowstone on in the background. And yes, you need to help the mixer a bit by bringing down the sides. This is really easy stuff, but it's maybe not as common as making other kinds of pâte. If you want a long pâte as opposed to a short pâte, then you're basically making pasta because there's no shortening in it. All fats shorten the dough, and the more fat you have, the shorter it is, and the longer it is. Hence, pasta. The words in Latinic languages all say pat for all these things. So I'm gonna just slowly pour this in, try not to get it everywhere. Oops. And I'm going to remove this so I have some work surface. And maybe you don't want to overbeat this. Never do that. You're always going to get something tough, too much gluten. While the mixture is doing its job, starting to like bump and be crazy. That's probably the time you turn it out, in my experience. And then what you're meant to do here, oh shoot, I didn't leave the jar of flour out. We're gonna need some flour. Rock and roll, babies. Sorry about that, but you know, home cooks do what we have to do. So, I'm going to, there's flour mixture not quite done here. And you know what? Maybe I don't want more flour on the board. What I'm gonna do is get us some plastic wrap, and we're gonna make 2 balls. And I'm going to chill one, and I'm going to freeze one. And the chilled one for an hour will be done in the fridge, obviously. I think that's obvious. And in the meantime, I'll make the Meyer lemon curd. Okay, so I'll take half. Oh, get the bottom going here. The bottom is still got some dryness. Keep it going, keep it going. Go, Brandon. Okay, so I got a ball here. I have a ball here. I don't think they're even. I have lots left here. Want to make them even. And I want to get it all, because that's the whole point of making a nice short crust, is you don't leave flour behind. Okay, so I'll do my best to show you what I'm doing now, but this plastic wrap is kind of all folded up. So we take the sides and bring together. This dough is actually quite nice. It's not too problematic. That's because the butter's not cold and the ingredients aren't cold. So I'm bringing it together to form a ball. See, there's some dryness. You want to make sure those dry parts don't or do get moisture, because chilling it might not do the trick. And in the case of this short pastry, you don't actually need to be afraid of the warmth of your hands, because we're not looking for flakiness, we're looking for crispiness in the final dough. Okay, so this is nice. And I'm just gonna squish it like that. Make it a little flat. That's what we want. I'll do the same thing to this one. And one of these will be frozen. Okay, folks, while the pastry is chilling in the fridge, we're gonna make the lemon curd. It has nothing to do with anything curdled. And not that curdling is a problem unless it's in your milk, because curdles is how we get cheese. Strange that people hate that word. Anyway, I wanted to show you this beautiful Meyer lemon. It's orange. The red ones are really orange. They smell so sweet. And it could be confused for a tangerine, except for the shape, I suppose. I have the zest of 5 of them, and that flavor, oh my God, it's infusing the entire kitchen. I have 1 cup of juice, which I'm putting in a pan to heat up, And that juice came from 7 Meyer lemons because mine are quite small. I kept this one for the next recipe. And I'm going to add all the zest. The scent and the is so intoxicating. It's a citrus that kind of tastes like a lemon and kind of like a tangerine. Then 1 cup of sugar. And we're gonna whisk that together on a medium heat. Where's my whisk? Until the sugar dissolves. So since it's a custard, we need to be, we'll be using eggs. I have 5 whole eggs in my mixer here. And I have 7 egg whites. Yeah, custard baby. And we're just gonna mix them. And I'm going to get my spatula going so that we get all that richness. We don't need to be beating this into some kind of froth or anything. You just wanna mix it. That's pretty mixed. Let's just do a little. Okay, that's it. Not trying to make an omelet. So I've got that, and I've got, oh, when this lemon heats up, I can hear it sizzling. That means I have it maybe on a too high temperature. I just want to get the sugar melted. But we're going to put in 5.5 ounces of butter, which is 156 grams. I measured it because we don't use ounces where I am. And I don't even know what half an ounce is. But that's my fault. Okay, so when that all melts, we're gonna pour the melted part in, like slowly while mixing to temper the eggs. Tempering is important. Then we're gonna pour it all back and get us up to a thick pudding-like texture. And then we're gonna strain it. And we're gonna put some plastic wrap right on the surface as we normally do with custards and curds. Oh, I think I want to do a pinch of salt because it's just a pinch. I don't want to boil it. No boiling. No boiling. Nope, that's too hot. Okay, so we have, I can feel the grains. Remember, touch, smell, feel, temperature. I guess there's some more to touch and smell, but eyeballs and earballs. When you hear things sizzling, you know certain stages have come, and when you see them boil, you know you've gone too far. Okay. So using touch tells me that there are no granules left. I'm going to take it off the heat. Okay, we're going to put this on low so nothing goes splashing. And I'm going to use my left hand because I have to here. And we're just going to do small drips. I might turn this up a bit just to make sure there's no eggs, scrambled eggs. I don't see any. There's a lot of lemon zest that's lumpy, but we're gonna strain that out. Here we go. Here we go. I'll dump the rest in and keep this thing going a little high to get that heat. Oh, not that high. I just squirted out all over my kitchen. and my shirt. Okay, so I don't see any scrambled eggs. That's a good sign. And then we're gonna pour it back in the pot. Like that. That's a well-tempered mixture. Put it back on the heat, which is at medium-low. I get my whisk out. And you don't want to walk away from this and go watch a show or take a telephone call at this point. So you just keep going. Yes, that's Yellowstone on in the background. And I'm kind of making a mess. Hold on. I'm just worried I don't want it to catch. So I'm stirring a little rigorously. And I'm looking for what you call the back of the spoon consistency. Gotta take this off because I can see it's just dripping egg stuff. Okay, egg mixture. Okay, and I'm gonna keep going here. I'm gonna turn the heat up a bit. And this is lemon curd. It's basically lemon pudding, but with a lot more lemons. And not just a little teaspoon of lemon flavor. Did I just bump the camera? No, I don't think so. Okay, so we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna get a wooden spoon so that we can do the real test. I don't want cooking. I don't want any catching on the bottom. See, there's stuff on the bottom. Okay, just a second. I have my wooden spoon for the wooden spoon test. And I'm just gonna stir this without making a mess. Should take about 4 minutes. And if you bear with me, I think it's already been 2 minutes. I can feel it's thickening. I can feel it. Feel, smell, taste, hear, listen. All the senses are involved. Oh, don't let it bubble. It started to bubble. Okay, let's try this. Oh. That's the test. Okay, it's done. That tastes good. Now, we strain it. Remember, this is hot, so don't use it. But you can see it's totally pudding consistency. While it's off the heat, it's important to actually continue whisking to get the excess heat out because it will continue to cook. And we don't want rubber. I should have mentioned that earlier. But the flavor is really, it's good. It's tart, citrusy, but not, I don't know if anyone would notice it's really lemons. Maybe they would think it was a blend of citrus. Okay, getting the steam off. Don't know if you can see that. The only thing I'm straining for is the 5 lemon zests and any seeds that might have gone in. So we're just gonna pour that in there. Voila. Get it all out. And then you want to get it all out because these things are not very common in my neck of the woods. I'll put some plastic wrap on that and put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. I'm doing a redo on the lemon tarts because I wasn't satisfied. They tasted amazing and very delicious. But I had leftover dough and leftover lemon curd. So I just wanted to... Sorry. I did the same thing I did before. I froze these and for 30 minutes, probably. I don't know if that's too much, but I was repurposing a recipe, and for a large tart, and I didn't actually think about the timing or the way to fabricate these in a way that would be aesthetically pleasing and to my standards. So I'm doing something different. I made the pastry thinner, as thin as I could get it. I also did the sides before I did the bottoms. I cut out the bottoms, put them aside, grease these. Well, these are actually, they're tart rounds, but they're mostly known as crumpet rounds. You put them on your pan and put crumpets in, and that's how you get it. They're 4 inches in diameter. If I find other kinds, I will let you know. Anyway, I placed the rounds. I did the buttering, then I put my pastry sides in before I put the base in. And the reason I did that, see how I'm trying to get the top off now that it's cold? Very cold, frozen actually, so they can come out easily. So what I did was put the bottom in second, so that the bottom and the sides don't have this weird juncture, because that's not a very professional look. And that's what I found happened last time. So I'm just gonna shave off all these tops. They're frozen. And I did the holes because the last ones did puff up. And the temperature is the same, 375. I can't move these, they're just stuck. But I have dough for one more in case I want to revise. But we're just going to do it for 10 minutes, not 25. And then I won't need the tin foil, which I found to be problematic. Okay, 10 to 15. I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so this is the deal on the redo. I made the sides, put them in the rings first, and then added the base, and then I pricked the holes so it wouldn't puff up. And I have a perfect shell casing, and you can see at the bottom that it's nicely browned, not too much, and you can see this ring so that the bond is not visible. That's exactly what I wanted. I still have curd left over, lots of it, from the previous recipe, and it's quite cold, but I let it warm up again to close to room temperature, so that we could at least spread it without problems. And I don't want it to touch the top of the crust, and so, because that's where it burns. So I'm just trying to be more precise this time to get what I want out of it. And I also realized that since these are so small, it's not going to behave like... Yes, they're screaming in the background. That's a TV show. Okay, so That one's not touching much. Let's get that off. Let's get that off. And these little babies are going to gotta keep this covered to the bottom so no skin forms. Gonna eat that. Yum. Yes, it's a cowboy show. Everything I cook is like a cowboy show. Joking. So we're just gonna do 375 degrees, but only 10 minutes. I don't think, like I said, I'm revising this recipe for a large tart, and I think I used the right temperature, but the wrong timing before. So these are going in for 10 minutes. Hi, friends and foes. No, there's no foes here. I'm just going to tell you what's going on. I got some water boiling. I gotta get that down to a simmer. And I'm making meringue as decoration for my lemon tarts because I didn't get to it last night. Let's just see if that's a simmer. Electric stove. Looks like a simmer. We need to have a pot. It's a double boiler again, style thing. And that's obviously not touching the water. That's what we want. I want to get that as low as I can. And I want to explain to you that there are 3 types of meringue. French meringue, Swiss meringue, Italian meringue. French meringue is the easiest. It doesn't require any heat, but it needs to be consumed nearly immediately. And it employs room temperature egg whites, some super fine sugar, that's how I do it, and some cream of tartar, and it's just whisked up into soft or stiff peaks, and often is used on desserts right away, and is employed on such things as il flottant. But when you want to do anything for structure, you have 2 choices. You have Swiss and Italian, and they're cooked in this manner over. There's heat involved before the whipping or during the whipping. There's and I'm going to do Swiss because it's the one I prefer. Oh, look, there's no boiling going on at all. Voila. So, but I'm doing Swiss because I'm making a meringue topping, which I'm going to then brown using a torch. But the interior will be cooked in this process. For a firmer peak, a firmer meringue, the kind you make plavovlas out of, you might want to do Italian meringue. But in that case, the sugar is heated to a super hot consistency and then drizzled very finely down the sides of your mixing bowl while the eggs mix, and that cooks them. But you could also burn yourself or burn the eggs. So I find that one quite difficult and unnecessary. I'm going to put, I have 4 egg whites here, probably more than I need. 4 egg whites turns out to be 4 ounces by weight. I had an entire 10 ounces of egg whites after I made the lemon curd. So I just took this amount out. I don't know why, I don't know, whatever. I cleaned that already. So room temperature, because you can't make really good meringue with cold eggs. So I've got my 4 ounces of egg whites, and I have my pinch of cream of tartar. Pinch. And cream of tartar is, I gotta get my whisk, hold on. Cream of tartar is basically an industrial age way to mimic using copper pots. That's what it is, that's what it's for, and it's not creamy and it's not tartar. There's a chemical name for it which you can Google, but it was introduced in the 19th century for people who couldn't afford copper pots, because anyone's ever used a copper pot for whisking or making meringue knows you don't need cream of tartar. Anyway, so I have 1 cup of regular granulated sugar, and we're going to kind of whisk this in, make it frothy, but the heat from beneath, well, not touching the boiling water, it's not boiling. I don't think it's even, I'm not sure what it's doing. I'll just stir this well it was, you know, it'll come up to temperature. And we'll just keep doing this until there's no grains left. Okay, no granules, no grittiness. And that's how you're gonna make the meringue. I'm probably gonna add some vanilla for extra flavor while it's mixing in the standing mixer with the whisk attachment. And I guess you don't need to see the rest of it. Just know that I'm going to constantly whisk, and I'm going to make sure there's no granules, and you can feel them in your finger and obviously it's cold now. So that's it for now. Okay, so the egg whites are cooked. We know that because the sugar is all dissolved. I'm not sure how hot this is. Just take a towel. We're gonna pour it into our mixing bowl. And I'd like to get my scooper here. I don't want to add granules, but I want to get the egg whites out without pushing. There shouldn't be any granules. I don't feel them. Okay, that's fine. And so this is going to end up being mixed for up to 5 minutes on medium high, and that will give us, just gotta get rid of this too. Try not to make too much of a mess for cleanup. Okay. I think that's a lost cause. It's definitely gonna be a mess. Let's start this. Gonna need that. Gonna put it up to high for 5. Who wants stiff peaks? It might take 5 minutes, but I doubt it's gonna be more like 3. And at some point when I get frothiness, I guess that's about now. I'm gonna add a dash of vanilla extract. Yeah. That's probably about 1/4 teaspoon. That's gonna keep it from tasting eggy. Okay, so it didn't take 5 minutes. It took 2.5, maybe 3 to achieve stiff peaks. It's actually, maybe it's not quite a stiff peak. That's a soft peak. I think for this, we want stiff. So I'm gonna Run it on high for 1 more minute or 30 seconds. You won't mind. But while I'm doing this, I'll mention how glossy it is. The gloss comes from the sugar. And it's one of the things you really want to look for. No granules, just gloss. Also, it's because of the air being whisked in, it's cooled down. It's not even warm to the touch. Okay. Let's see. Well, it's not stiff peaks, but I think it's workable. So, one reason for not being stiff might be that the eggs were still too cool. And the other reason might be that there's too much sugar for the amount of eggs, but I'm not worried about that. So I'm just going, for now, I'm not. So I'm going to put this into my piping bag. I use this milk container or tall glass usually to keep the sides up. And I've folded the sides down. If this doesn't work, I'm not gonna post it. That's all that means. But I gotta get my tart. I wanna show you the tip I've chosen, which is a kind of, ooh, I'd like to get a piece of parchment first. Hold on. I have this parchment and I'm going to do some tests. I have different nozzles to try. None of them are super big, but these aren't super big tarts. So I'd like to, I want to do rosettes like that. I think that'll be okay. Let's try it. First, we get our turntable. Put that back in. Let's just see. I'd like to turn it like, something like that. Okay, let's try this out. Starting in the center, I'm going to keep it vertical, and I'm gonna make the swirl as concentric as I can, but I'm also gonna build it up, going back into the center. How's that look? Oh, I could do some more. Get it to the edge and keep it going like that and make it nice and kind of gooey like that. But now here's the special trick. So for the delay, folks, it's late. I don't have everything at hand. I'm just gonna use this torch. And we're gonna cook it a little bit. Just so it's pretty. I think that's nice. I'll do the next one just like that, and we'll have something we can show to our friends and share with them.